I love his front. It's Jake the vegan athlete. Whoa!
How you guys doing?
What a presentation. Hey, look who I've just met. It's Jake the vegan athlete. So Jake, are you going to show us around your beautiful garden?
I would love to. Let's go.
All right, let's
go.
go.
On an
All
urban
right.
gardening adventure. Come on over.
Okay. What do you got there?
I got some fresh tomatoes.
Nice.
Yellow
nice.
pear cherry is one of my favorites. It's they're so good. And this one's like a black cherry.
Wait, I'm the one that's supposed to be eating that.
Oh yeah.
You know what it tastes like.
That's my vegan breakfast.
This is what?
Black cherry tomato.
Ah.
One of my favorites. And it's getting to be in Arizona past tomato season, but those are still ripe and really good. Yeah.
So good. What's it say?
Like longevity garden.
Ah, yes. Awesome.
Huayan.
Let's go in the longevity garden. Oh my goodness. Oh, how nice. All right, so I'm with Jake, the vegan athlete, and I know you have a big following on YouTube, Jake, and I'm just curious, do your audiences from your Kung Fu and your gardening mesh?
Do they kind of overlap?
Yeah, do they? Are they interested in both things, or are they pretty separate?
No, I think they overlap, but mostly because I forced them to overlap. So on the martial arts side of things, folks want to learn how to defend themselves and punch and kick and do the traditional Chinese martial arts, including Tai Chi, which we talked about earlier. But, you know, in real life, in today's modern world, you're not going to have to defend yourself on the street every day, but you do have to defend yourself against diabetes, cancer, heart attack, degenerative brain disease, and growing your own food at home and eating a vegan lifestyle of plant-based foods is how you do that. So I say that vegan and growing that food at home is the martial arts of the internal organs.
Nice, nice.
And then if somebody tries to take that health from me, I
Right.
can defend my life as well. Because I'm trying to put the message out there without shoving it down their throats, you know what I mean? So I just try to do like a cool video where you don't have to be vegan like me, you don't have to grow food like me, but it's so much fun, why wouldn't you do it? Just come along for the ride and do it. So,
Right,
and just plant one peach tree, or just have one day a week be, you know, like a meatless Monday where you do one vegan day a week and try to eat more plant-based foods.
Right, or have meat one day a week and have 6 meatless days.
If you were able to do that, yeah, that'd be great.
Well, I see that you have a lot of space here, but I think there's a permaculture connection between you and Jack, right? Are you practicing permaculture in your longevity garden?
Yeah, I think a lot of gardeners get hung up on that word permaculture, and they like to put a word and a label. People love labels. They put
Yeah, I
labels
don't know
on
why.
things.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, companion planting, putting trees with their friends. We got pineapple guava with grape, with a neem tree, all in like a 5-10 square foot space. And the plants, in my experience, if your soil is nutrient dense and you constantly add living compost to the soil, the plants love being close together, and you also can conserve water that way too.
Well, are you practicing no-till gardening with wood chips, or?
Exactly. So, believe it or not, we're actually about 2 feet higher up than my neighbor's yards are.
I do believe it. Mine is like a foot. I'm working on 2 feet, but I'm not there yet.
So if you guys know, like a truck bed full of wood chips is about 1 or 2 cubic yards.
Right.
But a landscaping truck of wood chips is like 4 or 5 tons. So it's huge. It's like maybe 10 truckloads worth of wood chips. I've put over 40 landscaping truckloads of wood chips in my 1/3 of an acre so far. And I keep adding to it about 3-4 times a year.
My goodness. So when you want to plant something new, you know, a lot of the wood chip people say, sorry,
Right.
I am a wood chip person.
You're the wood chip person.
Do you pull the chips all the way down to your ground?
It's different for different climates. I think that if you were in like Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, or like I was born in Vancouver, British Columbia, you want to do it differently than being in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's 115 degrees today. Okay.
Is it going to be 115
115.
today? It was 115. Well, no, it was 120. Didn't it?
It was 120 degrees on
Yesterday?
Saturday.
Oh, incredible.
Insane.
Incredible.
And it's the first week of June. So,
right.
so if the wood chips are touching the trunks and if they're around the trees in the desert, I think it's fine. And my experience has shown it's fine because it's so dry here.
Right.
You have no chance of rotting out the tree. But if I was in a rainy climate like Hawaii,
Yeah.
I might pull a little bit of a few inch barrier between the wood chips and the tree trunk.
And I have a lot of problems with powdery mildew. My audience has heard this 1,000 times.
My friends in San Francisco have the same thing.
So Jack was saying that maybe if you have powdery mildew, you might not want to have it up against the trunk either. Would you agree with that?
I would imagine, yeah, I would say that's accurate. But I live in Phoenix, Arizona, so when I move to a more humid climate, I'll let you know.
But do you still have to water a lot with that much wood chip protecting the moisture underneath in the soil?
It depends, I harvest all the rainwater off my house.
Nice.
I also plant, if my tanks get full of rainwater, I can plant that water in the ground. And the wood chips do keep a lot of moisture in the soil. But I still water because I want to, the trees to grow.
Right.
And so we've only been here for about 4 or 5 years.
You've done all this in 4 or 5 years?
Yes, it was just a clay lot with nothing going on except for some bougainvillea bushes about 5 years ago.
Did you have a vision when you moved here that you were going to do this?
Not really. I'm 34 and I'm like the oldest of the millennials. I graduated in 2000. And so when I moved into this house, my wife and I weren't married yet, and we just kind of we were having a hard financial time because I think that the U.S. economy was really tough on millennials during the crash, right? So I figured I'm vegan. My most expensive bill is my food bill.
Right.
And I'm teaching 5-6 hours of kung fu yoga and fitness a day.
Right.
So I need to bring that food bill down. And so I planted a peach tree, a fig tree, and a pomegranate tree, and a grapevine, and it kind of just grew from there.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and then you were obsessed?
I don't think it's really an obsession. It's just being passionate about something.
Right.
I'm passionate about the martial arts from China. I'm passionate about traveling, and I'm passionate about gardening. And so, actually, let me change that. I'm not passionate about gardening. I'm passionate about growing my own food.
Right, okay.
And I got to be a good gardener to do that. And so I think that if more people had passions in their life, instead of just working all the time, the world would be a better place.
Well, I agree with you, and free time is a luxury for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And even a garden is a luxury for a lot of people.
Right.
But I always try to inspire people that even if you just have 2 by 4 feet and there's sun and you have access to water, to try to grow something, because you are a changed person once you put your hands in the soil.
I think that gardening will teach you about religion, about life and death. It'll teach you about how the world works, about economies, because you see all these patterns in your garden. You also get to learn the seasons better, and you learn how the earth functions.
When you have more of a permaculture where you have a lot of biodiversity, you just kind of let things happen the way they happen. Do you have that philosophy?
Yeah, and a few tips I would say for people watching out there that I also give on my Vegan Athlete YouTube channel is, get an animal that can help you, like a tortoise that will eat the grass and the weeds.
I saw that in your video.
Okay.
I'm going, exactly. I'm going to get a tortoise, right.
And number 2, if you got bird problems like I do, plant extra peach trees so that the birds can have some and you can have some. If you have aphids on one plant the same plant in a different part of your yard. Maybe that corner won't have aphids. And so there's different ways you can do it. Or bring in edible flowers that are planted with the vegetables.
So don't assume that because you get aphids on a couple of your cabbages, that everything's going to get it.
Right.
Okay.
Now, the other tip I would say to help manage bugs and pests in your garden is to capture the birds, capture the hornworm, capture the pests, Instagram that stuff, and lecture them on Instagram. Stay out of my garden, and then throw them away. And that tends to work for me.
You mean public shame the pests?
If you go on my Jake Mace Tai Chi Instagram, every 10th post is me talking to birds that I've caught and saying, get out of my garden. So,
oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I have a flock of wild Nande conure parrots, and I've just given up growing sunflowers because
they pick all the seeds out.
Oh yeah, before they even open, they're just destroyed.
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But they're fun to look at first.
They're so gorgeous, and they taunt me and yeah. So.
And I would say to people watching too, just keep it up. If you kill something once, if you don't have a university education in gardening, that's how you learn. And so I put 4.5 years into this place now, and I feel like now I've got a bachelor's degree in gardening, like a 4-year college degree. And so from this point on, I can put that degree to good use. And a lot of the master gardeners in my city come to my garden tour and classes to learn what to grow, because School of Hard Knocks can sometimes be more beneficial education than we just happen to have a backyard that is cut larger than most of the neighbors.
Yeah, it seems to kind of go, you got on a lucky spot.
Yeah, like a pentagon. And so we just happened to turn that into an edible food forest that's only 4.5 years old right now. So
I know. I mean, I'm very impressed. Let's take a tour.
Let's do it.
And check out your garden.
So we got a collection of different varieties of peaches. We have a Brazilian red pepper, edible pepper tree. We have new date palms that are just planted. Fruiting female mulberry that are delicious. This is a chocolate substitute called a carob female variety. We got a pecan tree that's been with us since the beginning. And then back here we have the pomegranate, avocado, and native trees like the palo verde, and lots of edible cactus. And you eat the cactus fruits as well as the pads sometimes. So we have a wide variety of different edibles. And so there's always something ripening and ready to eat. In this kind of climate in Phoenix where it's dry and hot, the date trees, the fruiting date trees do very, very well.
Why is this all wrapped up like that?
Because this is a new pup. We just brought this back from Death Valley, the Mojave Desert, where it was like 130 degrees.
Oh, wow.
And these are pups off the mother. And so I'm trying to use the burlap to guard the fresh new growth from getting too sunburned. And we're watering them every day to keep the roots viable and alive of these. This is actually a baby date.
So tell me about the neem tree. My friend Mumbai Balcony Gardener on YouTube is always talking about the neem, and she even uses neem pellets for fertilizer.
She's from India?
She's in Mumbai, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, everybody who I'm friends with who has roots in India comes in the yard and they can't see anything else but this neem, because that's like their tree of life, you know?
Right.
And the neem has over 200 known medicinal uses. So if you go on Google and search, you know, neem tree health benefits, you'll see a wide spectrum of different health benefits. But I'll add like a little pinch to my smoothies. They say you can brush your teeth with the branches. You can. They say you can cure diabetes with this plant. So it's a really amazing plant for hot climates like India or Arizona. Okay, head on inside.
Okay.
Into my main garden, which is called the refrigerator. Because this is what refrigerators should look like. Come on in.
Wow, it's cooler in here.
It's cooler in here.
Imagining that?
And basically this garden is so many raised beds that I only have about half of it growing, and half of it is in seed production.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for instance, this bed is way overripe. All these white flowers are carrots.
I was going to say they're carrots.
That have gone to seed. And you can see the bees coming in and pollinizing them. So now I'll have free carrot seeds next year. So this is tree collards, the green variety. There's purple and green. And these guys have been alive for about 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
And we propagate these by taking the pups off the mother trunk and we plant them as their own plant.
Nice.
And even though this guy looks a little beat up right now, this is how he looks in the summertime.
Okay, I was going to say it's a little crunchy.
Yes, but see, like a leaf like this will go to my tortoise. And then I'll pick the nicer ones that are up here that actually are like a little more green and tender and whatnot. Those. And we also took half the leaves already off this guy and we made kale chips for the entire year inside. Tomatoes behind you, the forest of tomatoes going on. And in this bed we have all of our mint and microgreens, like the bok choy microgreens. I believe this is a mulberry seedling that I have not transplanted out of my bed yet.
What is the qualification for being inside your netted veggie garden?
Anything that birds love.
Okay.
It's inside here. And this used to be like National Geographic. I'd walk outside, it was just like the Audubon Society was all inside my backyard. So now one bird gets in every now and then, and it enables me to grow a garden. And half of the plants in here are totally going to seed, and we harvest the seeds or they just drop on their own on the ground. The other half, like these peppers, are growing new, and I'll harvest them in about a month or so.
Nice.
So I have enough garden space now that I don't have to have it all kicking butt all the time, you know?
Right.
I can have half of it seeding, half of it newly planted, half of it edible.
Nice.
That's 3 halves, by the way.
All right. Yeah.
So having a backyard pond gives that essential element of water to all the native wildlife, dragonflies, bugs, and birds. We also rescue the fish, so it's a great addition to the landscape. Plus it raises the humidity for these tropical plants, and when we water the trees with the pond water, they get that fish poop nutrients in there. And when you're stressed out with life at the end of your day, hanging out with the fish is a great way to finish and relax.
Do you take the water out and somehow water the plants, or is it just being beside the pond?
Sometimes I put a pump in there and I have a hose hooked up to it, and I'll water the tropical sometimes with the hose pump. But mostly I just let the water do its thing because the water's alive. There's no chemicals in this water making it clear. It's just the microbes that are in the water, and the fish and the plants. The plants clean the water, the fish poop for the plants, and it's a symbiotic relationship. I've trained them to be pettable, and they're also finger eaters, like that guy. And this is Lion, and this is Zen, and this is Emperor. They're like my fingers right there. And they're like my little kids. I don't have any kids, so these are my scaly kids, you know? So this section is the tropical section of my yard, and the reason why it works is because this acacia willow and mesquite tree are kind of like parent trees. They give a top canopy of shade for like the mango tree that's down below, or for the papaya tree that's down below. And back over here, I just had my banana palm flower, so check this out.
Okay.
I've just been doing bananas about 1.5 years, not that long, and this is my first ever banana flower right here off the plant. You can see that red part right there. And that's the flower, what it looks like, and that will eventually turn into some bananas for me. This year, hopefully. And this was a pup off the mother that's only been planted in the ground for about 6 months. So, okay, this papaya was a seed about 1 year and 3 months ago. This one here, and this one behind me is about 2.5 years old. It's the mother papaya, and it has about 20 or 30 papayas per year come off of this guy. So the pond plants are really fun because they clean the water for the fish. So as the fish poop in the water, that gives nutrients for the pond plants, and then as the water passes down my river, it feeds those plants, and the plants clean the water, so no chemicals needed. There's tons of different varieties of plants. You got yerba manzа and lilies, water nasturtium, irises. We have cattails, and all different nature of edible, usable, medicinal plants that just use the nutrients from the water. So we initially rescued these chickens from a friend of mine. I never buy chickens, I never breed them, I don't have a rooster. I just literally rescue chickens from people who can't keep them anymore, and usually Craigslist is a great spot for that. And so this guy's name is Mocha, and Mocha was a rescue about a couple of years ago, and they live with us here at the house. So, and then we use their manure in the garden. If they produce eggs, my wife is really the main connoisseur of the eggs, and if we have an abundance, my dogs take them. And the chickens are a great part of the landscape. Plus they eat a lot of bugs, like scorpions and bad bugs, so they're excellent part of the landscape. But they're hot right now, so we're gonna let this girl go and go find some cooler shade. So this guy's Leo. He's the leader of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I do martial arts, and I figured Leo was a good name. And Leo's about 8 years old now, and we've had him since he was about half the size of a DVD. He is the #1 weed and grass eater there ever was, so if you don't see many weeds in my yard, it's because this guy roams the yard and eats everything in his path.
And how big will he get?
About twice that size.
They can live to be 100, right?
They do, exactly. When Pam and I first were dating, she was working with a coworker of hers who had Leo, and he outgrew the terrarium, and so we adopted him instead. And he's lived with us ever since. And he gets watermelon on hot days like this when he needs some extra moisture, because normally he only drinks water about once every few weeks. He's a crowd pleaser. Right, buddy? You basically came to Phoenix on the hottest weekend of the entire year because it only hits about 119, 120 one time of summer, and this is the weekend you're here.
Wait, you're feeding the animals cold watermelon. You got any for me?
Yeah, so I give the tortoise and the rabbits and stuff watermelon like this, and right out of the fridge, or we freeze it in the freezer, and they just love it to keep them cool.
Oh,
Plus,
wow. They're lucky.
They get a lot of shade, and I just think that I was born in Canada, so I'm still not used to this heat. It doesn't help that it's 115 degrees with no clouds and no wind. So it's like a stale oven of Phoenix, Arizona.
So in other words, I came at the absolute perfect time.
If you wanted to come to Phoenix and brag to your friends that you came in the hottest time, you were successful.
Maybe you could show me a move, one of your moves. And
Tai Chi.
As long as I don't get hurt. I just don't want to get hurt.
We can show you a move that every gardener should know to defend themselves in the garden.
Okay.
Okay.
Rolling. He's going to interview me.
Yeah. I'm curious about, like, because you're doing very professional videos.
Right.
How many do you have total? How many videos?
Well, I have 90.
Okay.
And so my goal is 100.
Okay.
And
then you're done?
And then either Katie Couric or Amy Poehler are going to pick me up for their production company, or Amazon.
I see.
Yeah,
cool.
It's going to be just envision late bloomer on Amazon.
Okay. So on
or
Amazon,
HGTV would
meaning
be fine too.
on Amazon Prime, meaning people can like subscribe and go in there and see it.
We'll have to work out those details.
Okay. Cool. But do you want to sell it on Amazon like a box set, or do you want it to be like a streaming thing that the
Oh, no,
Amazon
no,
Prime
yeah.
followers get.
Yeah,
I see.
exactly.
Cool.
I want to be a show on their content.
Okay. That's pretty
Original
cool.
content. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the YouTube is just kind of like a audition for you.
For your audition.
Yeah, for your audition.